As she hinted there, this election campaign truce is underway, and it's expected today that the leaders mark Good Friday. Joining us is Trudy McIntosh, who's covering the Peter Dutton camp. She's in Sydney. Trudy, so what's on the cards?
Yeah, a much slower start for the Peter Dutton campaign today. It was a pretty fast pace for the last few weeks of the campaign, but given it's Good Friday today, the coalition know that a lot of voters are not going to be tuning into the cut and thrust of politics over the long weekend and even next week with school holidays and into the Anzac Day long weekend as well. But Peter Dutton, who's trailing in the polls, it's his task to somehow try and capture voters' imagination. We saw the Liberal Party launch held last weekend in Western Sydney, announcing new policies to try and attract young Australians who are locked out of the housing market. There's that one-off announcement for that one-off cost of living tax rebate alongside that repeated message as we see the opposition leader go to those petrol stations about cutting the fuel excise. The opposition leader, though, is trailing in the polls, and it looks like it's getting worse in the latest YouGov poll out today. The primary vote for the two major parties tied at 33% apiece. Now, the trend there for the coalition is not good. It's gone down in this metric from 37% in March, so a downward slide. It's up to Peter Dutton to try and arrest that. In terms of the two-party preferred, a bump for Labor, 53-47. Peter Dutton expected to hit the hustings in a muted way, I'd have to say, for Good Friday today here in Sydney. We spoke to some voters about which way they're thinking for the election, and a lot of people still haven't tuned in. Peter Dutton, what do you make of him?
Not really that impressed with either side yet, but still a few weeks to go, so see how it evolves.
To make up your mind? Help you make up your mind?
Oh, yeah, a bit more ambitious about changing things.
Pay much attention to the federal election? See much about that ahead of his? What do you make of the politics at the moment?
I don't really have any thoughts on that.
There's different policies by different parties, but I'm not too sure which way to vote at the moment.
Is there anything they could do to convince you?
I'll probably make a decision and actually have some policies that actually count rather than just trying to appease everybody, just actually make a policy that makes a difference to Australia.
The campaign battle, though, is not just all about where the leaders go and what electorates they visit, but rather that subterranean battle that's happening on your phone. The flood of ads that we're seeing targeting different demographics, that's what's likely to continue in full force over this weekend. We've also seen both leaders embrace going on podcasts to try and get into the ears of audiences who might have tuned out of federal politics altogether. So that's the fascinating part of this campaign, Pete, that's actually pretty hard to cover, to see what they're doing behind the scenes to try and capture the attention of Australians who are undecided.
Yeah, no, true. And so, Trudy, thank you. And everything will be back with a bang after this long weekend for the penultimate week of the campaign. And we've got some pretty big debates on the show next week.